Hey everyone, welcome back to the official AYS Podcast. It's been a while, but we've got some awesome content coming up for you guys. Today we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Bean, who is an AYS regular, so he talks a lot in the server, and he's come to share his experience as my co-host for today. Say hi, Mr. Bean.
Hello.
Don't tell everyone who you are and what you do, your past experience with server management.
Well, I'm Mr. Bean, and I talk a lot.
Yes, he does. He posts lots of photos of himself as well in the images channel.
Yes. See, I had to disguise myself. That's why I don't actually look like Mr. Bean. But yeah.
With the pirate hat. So today we'll be discussing mini modding, or what a lot of the people in AYS like to call it, a bootleg modding, which is essentially where someone who's not a mod tries to moderate the server. This is quite common in a lot of larger servers. Essentially, when there's and there's no mods around, and a lot of rule breakers, people who are experienced in the server will take time and essentially tell them off and try to be a moderator themselves without actually having the specific training required by the server or any actual power. They can really only say and tell people not to do stuff or ping mods at the same time. A lot of people don't like mini mods because they can be annoying. They're essentially moderators, but they're not, they don't hold an actual position. They just seem to know the rules.
So mini modding is caused when your local mods are all offline, right? And then some inexperienced Discord user comes into the chat and asks where they can advertise, and you kind of just help them along the way.
While we're at the ad break in this podcast, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Cell Shaded Games. Cell Shaded Games is a company dedicated to creating the greatest anime-themed board games, card, and party games. They're a bustling team with a presence in America and Germany. They have experience in comic art, writing, 2D animation, and game design. They've worked with Fortune 500 companies to develop high-quality products, and now they want to give that quality to the anime community. Check them out in the link in the description to get access to their brand new anime-themed party game, or check out cellshadedgames.com. So, with regards to mini modding, there are positives and negatives to it. The positives, there's a few of them. With mini mods, they're essentially, if you don't have moderators online at the same time, and they step into the shoes of the moderator, while they might not be able to stop raids and spam, they can help with your user experience by, assisting new members with questions that they may have, or how to use a server, or how different things work and who's who. They can also, refer people to the rules and the correct channels if they need help with that. And mini mods are also able to, ensure the rules are being followed. And if there's a case where someone isn't following the rules, they can call it out. If they keep going, then they can ping a mod, because a mod may not always be watching chat depending on the type of server and the size of it. So having mini mods is, it helps support users, it helps keep the server safe. A lot of places like Dino, Discord devs, the really large servers, they have a lot of mini mods, mainly because the server is very specific about what you can talk about, and have a lot of members, which causes there to be a lot of mini mods present. In a server like Discord devs, the verification channel, for example, is only about bot verification. Now, people will come in there and talk a lot about other crap that's not relevant to that channel. That having those mini mods there, while there's not a lot of mods in that actual server, there's only like 7 or 8, or 9, including Discord stuff, and they're not always on. It helps ensure that people know, and they can also answer people's questions, because verification is very complex on Discord for bots. They can answer people's questions, and they can also refer people to the correct places too if they have an issue, such as needing to report a member, something that's not actually relevant to the verification channel. They can also ping mods in case of a issue with the server, such as a raid happening or a spam, But a lot of these servers have auto mod anyway, so it's kind of redundant. A server like Dino, for example, as Dino's a Discord bot, they have a lot of support channels in that server, and the community is really important. The mini mods, I guess you could say, or the bootleg mods, uh, they're really important at making sure people know how to use the bot, and when people come and ask questions, because Dino has 2 or 3 support channels, and that's because they just have so many people wanting support in their server for their bot that if they have one channel, just get clogged and people won't be able to follow through. So it's good that they have the community members there that are able to help those users who might have questions about the bot, as Dino is quite a complicated bot to use. So it's important that you have those members in order to make sure that your new members know how to use the server and how to use the bot. Especially also like in a server like Advertise server. Our server is very complex. It has a lot of channels because there's a lot of stuff we try. We have so much information, and we have so many different products and services that we offer, free and paid, and it can be really hard for new members to find their way around. We try a lot to optimize the server to make it as easy as possible for new members to find where they're trying to go, but sometimes that's not always possible, and that's when people generally come to the lounge and we start asking where can I advertise and stuff. And while we have bot responses that can lead people in the right direction, there's not always. Someone might ask, the bot's not smart like humans. It can't interpret what someone's saying and try to convert it. It is possible with AI, but we're not at that stage yet. Essentially, the bootleg mods, you could say, such as Bean, are there to help make sure they can help people if people have questions. They interact in the server, keep people engaged. They can lead people in the right direction. And they can also, if someone's advertising lounge, they can point them in the right direction, because that is quite a common issue that occurs in AYS itself. So those are the positives of mini-modding. Just to sum it up, mini-modding, you really do need mini-mods in a larger server. They're essentially your helpers of the server. They watch what the mods do and they copy it when they're not around to help the server grow and stuff. Mini mods can also make good moderators. So if you're looking for new staff, mini mods are usually a good place to look, because they have the experience in your server of what the rules are, how to apply the rules, how the server works, how to answer people's questions, which is essentially what a moderator does. And since they've been in your server for such a long time, and it's obvious they care about your server because they're helping so many people, they make a good choice for a moderator if you are looking for new moderators. I'll now hand it over to Bean to discuss the negatives of mini-modding.
Now, small levels of mini-modding is oftentimes a good thing, but when it gets excessive is when there's a problem. So when you have your mini-mod in the chat, right, and someone's advertising, say, in the lounge, but then a real mod comes and starts taking over, but the mini-mod's ready to be a real mod, that can get really annoying, especially it gets in the way of the moderator's job. And then sometimes mini-mods can just be annoying, because oftentimes what I see in servers of my own are these mini-mods are very entitled people and they don't really read the rules too well. Except for me, I'm the best bootleg mod. So you want to be careful about how much bootleg modding you let into your server, and you kind of just want to manage that. So it can also be tough for the server's administrator to keep an eye on how much bootleg modding's going on.
Continuing on from Bean, another issue with mini-modding is that sometimes mini-mods will give incorrect information or apply the rules incorrectly, as they're not staff in your server. They don't know how things work behind the scenes. So it's important that while you have mini-mods, that you also, make sure they're not going off on a rampage, saying the wrong things, because a lot of misinformation spreads that way. In Discord devs, there is so much information that's not actually released to the public, but it's come through conspiracy and other mini-mods saying things, which Discord has never actually confirmed, and it just causes a lot of issues internally, as you have these people who are feeding incorrect information, which can rep your server badly or poorly. Another issue with the server like Dino is that people can give incorrect information as to how to set the bot up or do things like that, so the bot may do complete tasks have unintended consequences because of the way someone's told them to set it up. Going on from also being said about how they can be annoying, a lot of newer members don't like being told what to do by other members. Even older members, like if people aren't mods and they see someone trying to tell people what to do, they'll start thinking, well, who are they to tell people what to do? And that's how arguments and stuff break out when mini mods, argue with another person. Mini mod confliction as well, where there's two mini mods who have differing opinions about something. There's also quite a large issue as neither of them will generally be correct, or one will be correct, but they're just trying to prove their point at that point, and then it doesn't really exactly matter what they're saying. So, it's important to keep your mini mods in check. If you see people telling people the wrong information, gotta tell them off. Especially like a server like Dino as well, which I was talking about before. They even have like a pin in their support channel that outlines the rules for mini modding or giving support. I don't want to keep calling it mini modding because it's kind of a constricted term, but it can be elaborated on. In the Dino server, they have a pin and it essentially says what you can do. So essentially, if a support staff member has not assisted a member, you can assist them, but if a support staff member is already assisting them or someone else is assisting them, you shouldn't intervene. If you feel like they're doing something wrong, you should DM them instead or contact the actual mods. And you shouldn't join people's servers to set the bot up for them because then that can cause further issues. So,
and you shouldn't trust other people to set up the bot for you either. You don't know what they could be doing.
Yeah, you don't want to go giving random people permission in your server. So next I want to talk about how to ensure a mini modding is kept appropriate. So looking at the case study from the Dino server, you really want to have all the information that's necessary available to the general public. So in Dino server they have lots of guides, have pins on how to support members, they have all of the stuff you can need to be a mini mod. I'll also have people watching the chat to make sure that they are enforcing the rules appropriately and they're telling people the correct information. So you really do need to make guidelines. You need to make, you need to have a standard set saying if you're going to do this, then you need to know this, this, and this. And mini modding all the time, it's a natural part of server growth. You don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to go make mini mods, and it just happens over time. And it's important as the server gets larger to keep an eye on it. It can be really inappropriate if you have staff members trying to mini mod when there's also someone else in chat trying to mini mod. And if the staff member's not a mod, well, things are getting a bit out of hand there, as the staff members are essentially the same as a regular member, as they don't actually hold any gifted powers, such as muting if people aren't following the rules. So a good way to start to make a pin about the rules, have a specific mini modding rule. Some servers say no mini modding at all. Some say it's alright, but you can't go telling people what to do all the time. To extents, mini modding is very subjective, so it's not objective. Like you can't say a specific thing and say it's either really no or yes. There's no to an extent really. So it's important that you also keep an eye on chat. You have your mods keep an eye on chat. If something's going wrong, you let the person know that you're taking over, and essentially that's how how you keep mini modding appropriate for your server. That brings us to the end of this episode of the AYS Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll just have to thank Mr. Bean for coming on. He will he might be joining us in future episodes.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Remember, keep checking out. Remember, you can subscribe to our newsletter to get our weekly updates. Check out our social media channels to see our latest and greatest news. Don't forget to check out our news channels on the AYS servers, which you'll find this podcast in and other cool guides. And don't forget to check our blog out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.